Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 33 of the Audible Farm podcast. I'm your host. My name is Peter Stockdale. This week I'm sitting down with Tyler Price. Tyler Price plays the bass, and, he looks like he always is having a good time doing it. And he plays for TV Cop. They are I guess you could call them a pop punk band, maybe a power punk or pop power punk. I don't know, whatever. But it's somewhere in that pop punk area. And when I first saw them, the band's name was Sports Team, and they, incorporated trombone, and they've gone through some member changes recently. We discussed that a little bit in the upcoming podcast, as well as where he drew inspiration from and some of his favorite bands, etc. So stick around for this one. It's going to be a great one. I actually recorded this one on the go. I used a portable recorder, and it was something I'm just trying new things out on the podcast to see what works to try to make life a little bit easier out there on the go. So this one's going to be a little bit shorter than normal, and hopefully that doesn't deter anybody from listening. So I appreciate Tyler for his time. He came out and met me before a show that I had played last weekend, and I really appreciate everybody for stopping out to that show, and I really appreciate Tyler for showing up and having a little conversation with me. So shout out to you, Tyler, and everybody enjoy the podcast. Thank you very much. This is episode number 33 with Tyler Price.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
All right. So today, sitting down with Tyler Price.
Hello.
And you are the bassist for TV Cop, formerly known as Sports Team.
Yep.
It's been a while since the Sports Team to TV Cop changed, and I think you guys have done a pretty good job of solidifying the new name. I remember when the name change happened, and it was a pretty sad deal, like overall, because I thought Sports Team was awesome. You guys made T-shirts that just said Sports Team on them, and they were like sports themed and things like that, so you'd be like walking
baseball
around.
shirts.
Yeah,
Everybody liked the baseball shirts.
yeah, it was friggin' awesome. So I'm gonna turn the levels up just a skosh here and see what happens. I'm recording portable today. Hopefully it doesn't sound like deuce, but just gotta try and expand my horizons a little bit with this. So you guys we were gonna play a house show together over the weekend when we were recording this, but unfortunately you guys had to drop off the show. And that kind of sucks because you guys are probably one of my favorite bands from around the area.
Thank you.
That I've seen. These microphones are like totally shit, so you gotta like point them.
Okay.
At
Like
your,
this.
Yeah,
This is better?
yeah. Otherwise, it.
Okay.
It's just the way they work. I didn't spring for the high end stuff when I went for the podcasting gig because it's not gonna make me the money.
No, that's
so
cool.
But yeah, you guys were supposed to play the show. Your drummer couldn't get the date off, but right now your drummer is currently your other guitarist, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
So what's going down with that? You guys are looking for a drummer still?
Yeah. I mean, I can't really like get way into it,
No, that's cool.
but yeah, we have had a lot of member changes, and it's been kind of rough. But I mean, like the core, base of TV Cop is still there.
Yep.
you
Oh yeah,
know?
definitely.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of finding like musicians that want to work with us and want to put down
Oh yeah.
a little bit of work, because it's not easy. It's not
No.
I don't know.
No,
It's just not easy.
Yeah, I totally get it, man. It's just doing the grind every single day. It can wear on a person if
Yeah.
it's not what you really want to do.
Yeah,
And-
you don't make money doing it. You have to drive around everywhere. You're
Yeah.
away from like friends and family a lot, so it's not for everybody.
No, and that's like one thing that seems to be the common theme in most of these podcasts is like most people don't get into it because they think they're gonna make money. A lot of people realize it's more work than they thought it was going
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
And then there's usually a drop off, and I mean I found myself in those shoes. Like I played music in my early 20s and then just like quit through the majority of my 20s and then just started playing again recently. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I totally get where people are coming from. You got to have that drop off, and it's not like everyone's going to go through it, but some people just kind of get tired of driving everywhere. Like
Yeah.
I go to school in a different town than I live in, so I drive every day, and then I live in a different town than all my bandmates, so I drive for that. And I mean, I'm on the road plenty, and it's wearing me thin, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, and I didn't want to like trash talk old members of the band or anything, because like we're all friends, like we're all still buds on it, but like
Yeah, oh totally. And I'm good friends with all your guys too, the past members too. And it's
Yeah.
not, this is definitely not anything down on them. It's playing music with people is something that you have to find the right group of people to get along with for the amounts of time that you need to be together, and it's not always easy. And I'll tell you what, I mean, like I've been through that with my bandmates once or twice here or there, but it's just those little spats you just got to kind of go with, and you learn how to. It's almost like a weird thing where you learn how to professionally handle yourself around other people.
Yeah.
And we're all. It's not like we're all professionals. That's why we're playing music, So we all of us. I'm sure all of us have done it once or twice. Been a little short with people, and it's just the way that it happens sometimes.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to sound like, we don't want people thinking that we're dicks and hard to work with or anything, but it's just, it's hard to get people to put the work forward, like,
Yeah.
you got to order stickers, you got to record, you got to order the shirts and merch, and you got
Yeah.
to drive, and you got to load up equipment, you got to buy equipment, and you don't get a whole lot of time to work or make money or anything.
Exactly. I totally get that, because you guys in TV Cop definitely have a different drive than most bands. You guys are out there every single weekend playing shows.
Yeah, we're trying to.
You're practicing every single week. You're hopping on shows all over the place in eastern Iowa, central Iowa.
Yeah.
Pretty much anywhere that'll have you. How far out of state have you guys gotten?
I don't think we have gotten out. Kirksville, I guess, is the only place that we have gotten out of state. Honestly,
where's that at?
Missouri.
Yeah, is that just south of Keokuk somewhere? Where is that at?
Man, I wouldn't know. I GPS'd it.
Have to GPS it on a map. But that's and I mean I get that, like
but we play in Des Moines, Iowa City all the time, and that's still like a 2-hour drive for us.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I'm getting at. You guys aren't just like a band of like a handful of people that lives in a big city that are only playing shows in that big city. You guys are actually going out for the long drives. Well, you live, your guys' band is based out of Ottumwa, and that's not necessarily super close to anything.
No,
no,
it's like a little corner.
Yeah,
down there.
so I mean, it's a 2-hour drive to Des Moines. You said.
Yeah,
and I mean that's how far I got to drive to get here. So it's no different. But it's just one of those things that you got to have that drive to keep doing it. And I mean, have you ever gone through, like, in your own mind, like, just like every now and then it seems like I go to a gig where it's just like, oh my God, I'm just dragging ass today, and I just had to haul my shit, and then you gotta pick it up and put it in the car, and it's like, man, I wish I had a smaller setup. I gotta drag around a 4x12 with a 100-watt amp, and I get why people are downsizing.
You gotta go by the 212. That's what you gotta do. That's what we're doing.
I mean, that's the way to do it, but it's insane that like a 2x12 cabinet costs just as much as a 4x12 or more.
Yeah.
It's less materials, and it's
even if you want to build one, it's like even more than that. So.
Yeah, I mean, there are actually a few companies in Iowa that do custom-made cabs for people, and I debated on hitting them up whether or not to maybe try out one of their products or not, if they could cut me a deal. If any of them are listening, I'm not going to name you by name, but hit me up at www.audiblefarm.com, audiblefarm@gmail. No, very seriously though, like the 2x12 seems to be the way to go. I've seen people going all digital with just a pedal board setup. I mean, I saw Eli Dykstra recently.
Yeah.
He does like everything just straight out of a pedal board.
Yeah, I can do that too, like run a bass. I don't like to. I like to have my own cabinet there, but I use it as like a monitor for myself, just so I can hear myself. I don't need a big old stack.
Yeah,
it can kind of confuses me when I do have a big huge stack pushing air behind me. Like I borrowed Homeboy's
Jeff.
Jess,
our bassist.
Yeah,
yep.
And he just had this huge giant rig, and it was like blowing my hair back when I was playing it.
Yeah, and I mean that's just like one of those things. I like to have a lot of air moving. I like to be able to hear myself and stuff. But like, I would literally be just as happy with one in-ear monitor.
Yeah.
and call it good enough.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, it's always badass to have a huge giant stack, and like just it takes me back to like the grindcore days.
Yeah.
With, like, dude, giant stacks. You couldn't even stand in the building with them. It was so loud, it was blowing your head off.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got
Still
the
badass.
I've got the capability to do that, and I mean, if you had seen Three Finger Betty in like 2017, I mean, I used to drag around two cabs, and it was a thing, but it just my old back can't handle it anymore. No, I don't know.
Yeah, and I being a bass player, it's like I don't want to make these guys have to lug around my 8x10 cabinet that weighs 200 pounds.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, the refrigerator cabs. That's what they were always known
Like-
as because they were literally almost refrigerator
Yeah.
sized. And I mean, there's a lot of things to be said about like. I mean, materials have gotten better lately. There's a lot of like lighter cabs made out of
Yep.
more composite woods that are lighter to lift lately. Like I want to say Fender Rumble recently remodeled everything they did, and they came out with a cabinet, and the cabinet and the bass amp and everything. It's like it might be like 100 watts or so, but it weighs like
Nothing.
yeah, like 30 pounds.
Yeah.
It's like this is insane how light this weighs because bass stuff was always super super heavy.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I just recently upgraded my rig. I got a vintage 1970 some Sun cabinet,
Oh, cool.
and it's awesome.
Yeah,
And
dude.
it's heavy. It's
I've-
heavy as fuck.
I've seen a lot of those Sun cabinets coming back
Yeah.
around. Even those Sun heads are getting popular. Like, oddly enough, some bass heads are getting popular with guitar players.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it's like doom metal of some sort. I don't know what they're doing, but they're
Yeah.
rocking out like 400 watts out of a bass head, but they're
Yeah.
just relying a lot on pedals.
Because they just want that huge, thick sound. Yeah.
Yeah, and it totally works. It makes a lot of sense too because there's usually a higher band EQ on a
Yep.
bass rig than there is on a guitar rig, anyways. So, but it's just the way it kind of like this is turned into gear talk a little bit, but like how did you get started playing bass guitar, or was bass your first choice, or did you start out like playing piano, or
Well,
like,
it's funny. Like you know Dakota.
yep,
He writes all the songs for TV Cop, and I've known him since he was about 14.
uh-huh.
I'm an old dude. He's younger than I am. You know, like, I'm 30s now, but
Yeah, well, join the club, man.
so he started playing when he's like 14, 15 or something like that. So he's just like a savant
Uh-huh.
when it comes to some of that shit. But he writes all the music. But yeah, I started out playing like, so he started at like 15. I started playing at like 19, 20, somewhere around there. And I had an old Fender Mexican Stratocaster, and I was learning how to play it. And I walked into a music shop in Centerville, where I'm from,
Uh-huh.
and there was a pink P bass up there, and this is like 2004. Like Blink-182 was awesome. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what that bitch is, but I'm gonna play it. Like that's what I want. So
Yeah.
I traded it straight up
Oh, crazy.
for an old, beat up Johnson P bass. I
Yeah,
gave him,
but yeah.
and
mean,
I just never looked back.
that's pretty cool.
I like playing bass.
Like, what kind of music were you drawn to like make you start playing bass, or was it you just wanted to play bass with one of your buddies in a band, or what exactly?
Well, it's kind of both, really. Like I loved punk,
yeah,
and I was really, really into Rancid, and they just had a kick-ass bass player.
yeah, dude, yeah,
And like I said, Blink-182 and all that, and I did want to be in a band, so I was like, there's a million guitar players, not many people around here play bass, so I just never looked back.
yeah. I mean, that's pretty cool. I feel like our paths are kind of similar. Like there were a couple people around that played instruments, and I was like, hey, I kind of want to get into this, and they were like, well, get a guitar and kind of learn, and we can all just kind of learn together. So we all started playing punk music.
Yeah.
I don't know what the big draw to punk music seems to be. Maybe it's like our age group, because I'm assuming we're close to the same age. I'm 31. Yeah, 31. I think I'm
33.
So yeah, we're right in that same age group and stuff. Like I leaned a lot more towards pop punk, which is kind of why I take to you guys as TV Cop.
Yeah, I
quite a
did
bit.
too. Like I got really into like metal and hardcore and stuff because Ottumwa actually had a pretty sweet like little metal scene
Yeah.
there for a little bit. Like when I was
Yeah.
getting out of high school, like there's bands like Renavera and A Well Dressed Man that came out of there that were just badass, and I remember going to all their shows and being like, that's what I want to do right there. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And that
So
seems
it's like I got into punk and hardcore and metal and
yeah, that's another thing that comes up quite often is like going to local shows is kind of what gets a lot of people really into doing
Yeah.
it, because it's, I mean, of course you like other music. 'Cause
well,
you're
you
not-
see the legit shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, when you go there, you're like, this is punk.
Yeah.
This is punk rock right here.
Exactly. It makes it
They don't give a fuck. They're not making any money.
Yep, it's tangible too. Like
It's sweaty. There's a pit right there,
yeah, just having it right in front of you and seeing somebody else do it right in front of you.
Yeah.
That's not like, a band that's touring with all this money.
Yeah.
And blah, blah. It's just
or like a huge rock star. Or
yeah,
some
it's
shit.
just like, oh my gosh, these guys are just out here doing this thing, and that's super badass because this isn't something that they're doing it. They're here doing it because they want to, not because it's something that they and I think that's one of the biggest motivators and drivers for a lot of this kind of stuff. Is
I never set out to make like a whole bunch of money doing this.
No,
you know
no way,
what I
man.
mean? I just wanted to
I mean, there's
play badass riffs.
There's kind of like a weird spot in there. Like I never set out to make money doing this, but right now I'm so busy that like I have to justify it somehow because I'd be like losing money on the back end if I go to like shows.
Yeah.
So, whether it comes down to like not doing my schoolwork or not being able to go to work on a whatever day as late as I should. So, there is a little bit of a money trade-off, but it's not like a make or break situation. I got into this in detail in the last podcast. Nick Earhart's probably got the best thought process behind it because if you're arguing over like $25, with a promoter, but you have got 4 guys in your band, that's like
Nothing.
yeah, it's like $6 a person
Yeah.
you're arguing over. So don't argue over. And if it's ultimately going to come down to you playing a show or not playing a show, you should probably just play the show because that's what you want to do anyways. And that's one of those things where like I admire you guys got this grind. I don't know.
The reason that we were able to do it is
Mhm.
right from the very beginning, we got T-shirts printed up, like you said, and we'll take losses on shows.
Yep.
Like if we have to drive up there and we don't get paid any gas money, we'll go. We'll make up for it by kicking ass at the show. 3 people buy shirts. That's $30. That's our gas money we can get home.
Yep.
Or at least pretty fucking close to it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, dude.
So that's how we do it. Like the only way is selling our shit and kicking ass at shows. That's all you can really do.
That makes a lot of sense because like merch seems to be like the one place where you could probably make the most money if you justifiably can. And it's not like you have to like rip people off to make a shirt to make money.
$10.
$10.
TV Cop will always have $10 T-shirts. Always.
And that's
Always.
like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, I've forked over more than $10 for a T-shirt on many occasions and been more than okay with it.
Yeah.
But like, you almost don't say no to a $10 shirt.
No.
It's just like one of those deals. And I will have to say, I remember, I don't know if we've talked about this personally, but the first time I saw you guys, you were sports team still, and I was I had to either work the next day or go to school, or I had something going on where I had to be there early the next day. And I saw you guys kind of setting up and stuff. I was like, I'll listen to one of these songs and then I'm out of here. And then like one song goes by, I'm like, all right, I'll listen to another one. And then before you know it, I sit down and listen to your whole set. I'm like, all right, I got to get a T-shirt, So it's exactly like you said. If you show up and you just kick ass and people like you, then you're going to make at least a couple bucks back.
Yeah, and me and Dakota have always been like annoyed at people that will get up there on the mic and take a million minutes between each song that they play, and it's boring. And so we just throw it all at your face, every song back to back.
Yeah.
Stop like a couple of times and be like, "What up, buy T-shirts?" And that's our attitude. You can, you paid money to come see music. We're gonna play music for you.
Yeah, and that makes total sense too. I'll tell you what, because I remember one of the first times I ever saw Megadeth live. Dave Mustaine played like 8 songs, and this might have been it was one of the 20th anniversary tours. It might have been Rust in Peace. But anyways, I was going to one of the 20th anniversary tours for Megadeth, and he played all the way through the whole entire album, and then he stops, and he's just like, hey, I'm Dave Mustaine, this is Megadeth, and I don't like to talk on stage because if you're talking, you're not playing, and I feel like you're overcompensating. And so it's just like one of those deals where if you're just sitting there talking the whole time, you're probably not playing the full amount you could. So you could fill, like, it's one of those deals like, could you fill an hour? Yeah, you could fill an hour if you talk between every song, or like, could you fill 2? Like, yeah, probably. Like, if you just stretch it out even a little bit more. But it's one of those things where you guys are concise and to the point. I remember seeing you at Two Broke last year, I believe it was, and you guys like literally didn't play for like about 40 seconds the whole time you were on stage. You just like kept playing, and as soon as one song ends, you were snap beat like right onto the next song.
Yeah. So that's how we practiced everything. It's just, back to back to back. A lot of, like, Dakota's really good at writing songs that kind of end in the same key as another one starts and stuff like that. So it can all just kind of flow.
Yeah, I mean, I totally dig what you guys are doing in the TV Cop camp. That's definitely for sure. Once again, I'm pretty bummed you guys excuse me, like it's been a while, I feel like, since we've played a show with you, and it's kind of a bummer that I don't get to see you guys play.
Well, we do have another member coming back too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, we have Justin Ludeman is
cool.
coming back to play some guitar, so we have some
Oh,
leads.
you're gonna have another guitar in
back.
there. That's cool.
So,
Cool.
like, we're rebuilding some shit. We'll be out there.
That's cool. I can't wait to get back in touch with you guys and play another show, because I don't know, there's just something about you guys and the energy you bring, and you guys are all really enjoyable people to be around at shows and stuff like that. I remember seeing you in Fort Dodge one time, and it's just like, you know what, I'm gonna take these guys out to eat, and it's just like, let's all go to B-Dubs.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Let's all go to B-Dubs and hang out, so we all went to Buffalo Wild Wings and hung out for a while. And
Well, then Steve ate a whole bunch of super spicy
yeah,
chicken, and then got up there and like dry heaved in his mouth, like right when we started the set.
oh my god, yeah,
Like spicy Jamaican jerk chicken or something. I don't know.
yeah, that was a hell of a good time. That's just like another thing. Like, it's kind of crazy to think about how long. I mean, like, we really haven't like known each other for that long, but we kind of have like been in. As a matter of fact, what the crazy thing was, I think like a year ago was when I actually became friends with you. I believe I saw that on Facebook, or 2 years ago.
I'm horrible on Facebook.
yeah.
I wouldn't know.
I as of late have
I'm getting better at it.
I as of late just started like abandoning like Facebook and social media. I've
It's not cool anymore.
dude, I spent so much time on there, and it's one of those things where dude, I'm an accountant now, so I'm starting to take like inventories of like everything that I do.
Nerd.
And it's dude, that's I yell that all the time. Nerd. So yeah, I don't know. I just started taking inventory of all that stuff. And, like, there's no reason I should be spending like 5 hours a day on my phone.
No.
This is why I'm mad at myself for not doing homework or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. If I'm not like, ideally, if I'm not playing music, I'm gonna be outside.
Yeah.
Building something, taking a hike. I don't know. I don't want to look at a screen all day.
No, and that's the other thing is like sitting. That's all I do all day long. At my job is just sit at a screen and crunch numbers. So that's something else. I guess get a little burned out from looking at my phone.
I drive around and deliver pizzas.
Well, it's
look at that beast over there.
oh sweet. It's one of those things, like, to each their own. And I've learned over the years, because I've had a couple junkier jobs and a couple better jobs, quote unquote, by what you would say from the outside looking in. But the grass is not greener. It's not always greener. And it's not a good or a bad thing at some of the jobs, because every job had like ridiculous positives.
I've been a telemarketer. I've worked in fast food. I've done everything. I've built houses. I've done all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, and it
Doesn't
always
matter to me.
It always seems to be.
I am who I am. I'm
Yeah.
not defined by my job. You
Bingo.
know?
And that's another thing
Unless
feel.
you want to call me a kick-ass bass player. That's
Yeah, yeah. That TV, dude. And here's another thing about you is like, as far as characteristics that I can catch from your vibe is you seem to always be smiling. Like, you're always in a good mood, especially when you're playing bass.
Yeah.
Like, you are just grinning to beat the band on stage. It's not like you're just cheesing out, but you kind of are. You're just having a blast up there. Or what's the deal with that?
That's the only way I know how to play.
Just
Like, I'm not, like I said, I taught myself how to play when I was like 20, and part of that was just vibing on the music. Just everything else goes away, and then I can just hang out. That's what I want to do. So
yeah, that kind of reminds.
I'm having, I'm playing bass with my friends. How terrible is this day?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, exactly. It reminds me of this one thing. It's just like, why Eddie Van Halen smiles so much? Because he's Eddie Van
Drugs.
Halen. No, because he's Eddie Van Halen. That's why.
Yeah.
And that's, it's kind of one of those things up there. You're just out there having a blast doing what you're doing. I definitely, depending on, like, it just sucks to say this, because like sometimes, like, depending on the vibe of the day, like, even just getting on stage and playing stuff, I'm just like deadpan. Like, I turn into this person that looks like they're playing in a jazz trio or something that just like has zero facial expression while they're like trying to think intensively about stuff. And it's not like I'm even doing anything that intense on stage, but you can supplement that with like energy drinks and things like that. But at the same time, sometimes I get a little off, and that just doesn't set well, even like when I hit the stage. Like, I don't know, I recently played a show and it was just like, man, something just isn't right today, and you're just like playing the show and you're like, yeah, I did it all, but at the same time I wasn't just feeling it. And it's tough to say. I can usually pick it up if I haven't picked it up throughout the whole show, that we Three Finger Betty ends most of our shows with a jam night.
Yeah.
So like we like just jam around and just make a bunch of stuff up, and that's usually when I can instantly tell if I'm like on or not that night. And,
That's another thing too. I'm not very good at jamming.
oh,
You
man.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so all of these songs, I learned them because I liked them, and that's why I play them. Like
Yep.
I just feel it out and go for it. Learn the riff,
Yeah.
go balls to the wall, I guess.
Have you ever like thought about trying to figure out how to jam or like look into like song structure?
Oh yeah, no, I'm getting a little better at it. Like that, that's one thing. Is like when I started this band, I was like, I'm gonna be a little bit better of a bass player than I was in some of my previous bands.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like learn to be solid and learn what keys are and
Yeah.
what notes I can play where.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn that.
Dude, that was something that to me when I first started figuring out like what keys were where and where the notes were at, and you started finding the patterns that you could repetitively hit if you needed to, or just places you could pick up and fall off on with different things. And I'll tell you what, that was something that just skyrocketed my confidence level, and I started going to like jam nights at the local pubs, and I talk about this in some of the other podcasts with like there's just people around the area up in Fort Dodge in that area that just they'll set up, be like, hey, bring your instrument in and just start playing. And so people will just start playing music and flip-flopping between people and
jumping on and off.
Yeah, and I started going to those, and I started playing at some of them, and it's just one of those things that when I finally found out I could do that, it was like one of these huge confidence boosts. And I was about at that point where I joined Three Finger Betty as well. I realized I could actually like contribute something to a band worthwhile. And that was one of the reasons I didn't join any bands through most of my 20s. I was in a band in high school, and after that it was just kind of like, I don't think I have the time and the drive to do this.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to sell anyone short, like myself or someone else, or just like waste their time, and when I finally got better and just like had the drive again, I held on to it the best I could, because I'll tell you what, like, my chops are a lot better than they used to be, but I was playing some stuff the other day and it just wasn't hitting. And it's like, man, that goes
Every
to
day for me, man.
That goes to show you they fucking all those. Oh man, I dropped another F-bomb. That's only like the second one I've ever dropped in this podcast.
Oh.
So, well, either way,
you told me I could swear, so I was swearing.
You swear all you want, but I don't know why. The F-bomb's a weird one, because I get the mic in front of me and I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's not like riding a bike. You can't just always do it. Sometimes you got to build your chops up and keep them up by practicing every single day. And that's not always easy. 'Cause, you got to have that drive to do it. You got to have the time to do it. You got to make time to do it.
Yeah.
It's something I was talking about in some of I teach guitar lessons for beginners and things like that. That's something I just tell people. You got to make the time every single day to just pick it up for a little bit, and don't sit on
the couch, watch TV, run through some scales. That's all you gotta do.
That's exactly what I told people. Like, keep it next to the TV, because like, a commercial comes on or something, you'll just pick it up, or you'll be watching something you've seen 20 times and you'll realize you're bored of it and you'll pick the guitar up instead. And even if it's just for like a minute, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, that's just something I've always wanted to do, and luckily now, like, the same room my TV is in is the same room where I've got like a handful of guitars, so I can always just like walk over and grab one real quick and play if I want. So it's kind of nice.
I got them hanging on the wall.
That's there. Dude, you're like a professional.
Yeah,
like a doctor. Oh man, we've done about a half an hour. It appears that like I said earlier in the podcast, I'm doing this on a portable recorder. I've got about 15 minutes left on the recorder before I'm out of space.
That's cool. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, because that's how this rolls.
Sitting in a car.
Yeah, that's another one. We're doing this on the road. We met up before a show that I'm going to be playing on the weekend. It's kind of like a precursor to Two Broke for the Arts Fest, which you guys played last year. I was also on that show with Three Finger Betty.
We were going through member changes at that time too.
Yep. Actually, I believe I do. On the Audible Farm YouTube page, go figure, there's video of you guys and video of us, I believe.
Yeah, we had trombone.
Yep, you had trombone at the time.
Yep.
So that's a cool thing to like. That's something I also wanted to capture with Audible Farm, was just trying my best to like videotape people. And you guys were one of the first bands. I was like, I'm gonna videotape these guys. And I think, other than some Dark Mirror material from back in the day, I think your guys is. I think I can hear that.
Doing this.
Yeah, I think I can hear that. No, like other than some Dark Mirror material from way back in the day, your guys' was first stuff I put up. You might even been the first stuff ever that I put up. So
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, that was a house show actually at the same.
That was before we had any recordings or anything. So if anybody wanted to see us or know what we were about to book us for anything, they had to look at the Audible Farm.
Yeah, dude, that's cool because I remember Dakota telling me that he sent a handful of people my way and that it helped you guys get a couple bookings here and there. So that's literally all I want
We
to do.
try to help everybody.
Yeah, I just try my best
Try to be chill.
Yeah, just just trying my best to give back because I've spent so much time enjoying music. Like I'll tell you what, like the whole time I wasn't playing guitar, I was still going to like Dark Mirror shows and checking out the metal bands in Des Moines and things like that. And I mean, I when I grew up, I played guitar, and I always remember going to see like Hold for Swank. That's a band that
they just got a hold of us. Actually.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you what, I've been like working on that for a long time. I've been like tweeting you guys in the same tweets and talking to everybody with just positive vibes because I feel like you two guys would be a really fun show to see. And
yeah, we played with them way back in the day. Probably one of my other dumb bands I was in.
Yeah,
and they were super cool dudes. So
dude, yeah, Eric Nelson's such a cool guy. I remember seeing him when I was like 15 years old at a jam night, and he busted out "Amy, I Suggest." That's a throwback for Eric if he's listening. I don't know if he's going to be listening to this, but he'll probably giggle at that one. Yeah, I mean, the Hold for Swank guys are awesome. I'd love to get a show with them sometime.
They hit us up. They said they would be down with a show.
Dude, that's totally cool because you gotta let me know when that's at, and I'll show up and do my best to video record that one or something. Because that's, dude, you guys are two like my favorite kinds of bands that I've seen because there's a lot of metal around the state, but there's not a whole lot of punk that what I would call like the 2000s ish era punk, like pop punk, like post Weezer pop punk type stuff, like I feel like Weezer kind of controlled the 90s and into the 2000s, and then all of a sudden it was just like, here's Sum 41 and Blink 182 and Green Day and Newfound Glory, and I mean they just
Fall Out Boy,
dude, they all just came out and just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming, and I loved every drop of it. And like Hold for Swank is one of those bands that I would put like kind of I always put them in the same breath as you, and actually I recently saw a band gosh, I'm going to have to tell you off the air. I saw a band recently that I think you guys would probably dig that I think might be a fun show for you.
We'll play anywhere with anyone. So
got a garage or an amp, we'll play anytime. That's that might actually be at Rancid Lyric. I think that is the Journey Back to East Bay, I believe. Yeah, I think that's from that song. Yeah. So we're coming back full circle to the Rancid. Did you ever play any other instruments other than bass? Like growing up, you didn't play anything in band in high schools or?
Nope. None of my parents played. None of that.
Nothing.
No, I was rebelling hard when I got out of high school.
Yeah, I went through that stage too. Anybody that knows me when I was younger knows I
was like, screw you guys, I'm gonna go play bass.
Yeah, I just thought it was the coolest thing in town.
My dad was like, you're gonna go to college.
Oh.
Nah, dude.
Yeah, been there, and now I'm like.
I did go to college, by the way.
Oh God, I ended up dropping out and tried again and dropped out again, and now I'm doing it again, dude. I don't know what the deal is. Like I just had like a thing recently where I was like, I gotta go back to school and do something, so I did, and I don't know, like it's just a thing I did. I don't know if I did it for myself or for everyone around me or.
I'm now in a lot of debt because of it.
Yeah.
Rules.
I actually I was lucky enough, but oh gosh, I didn't go far enough into debt to be that big of a deal. So it's a nice deal to be able to do that. I feel like it's kind of weird to say like I did it the right way, but I'm also like 30 and graduating a community college, so like I also feel like way out of
30 when I graduated my community college,
dude,
man.
Pump it, boom. That's awesome. That's cool though. What'd you graduate with?
Just an AA.
Well, that's worth it though.
Yeah, I mean, kind of did it to prove to myself that I wasn't super stupid. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what. That was something else when I went back because everyone's like, well, "You got to go
That's
for."
really all I got out of it.
Yeah. Well, you got to go for something, and I'll tell you what. Like, I was just like, nah. I don't really. I realized I could go through like a certain program and not have to worry about getting an AA, and you could get like a certification or a degree in a certain different area other than getting an AA, and I ended up saying like, you know what, I'm gonna do the AA too. I'm gonna get them both, and just because I feel like I need the general education still, just to like try to realize like where I measure up to exactly what's going on, and it gave me a lot of perspective though, because you start taking like Psych 101 and stuff, and you're just like,
Yeah.
and you're just like, whoa, this could be pretty crazy, and then you take like a biology class, and you're like, whoa, this stuff's pretty nuts too. So it's kind of neat to get to dip your toes into all those different things. I'm like really glad I got to experience actually. How many shows do you guys think you play a year?
Well, like I said, it is slowing down a little bit because we got to retool some stuff. We did lose, I think, like 4 or 5 members. I can't even
Yeah.
count right now, but so we're, like I said, we had to drop this show, and that was a bummer. But we got stuff to work on. We got a couple of releases coming out.
Oh, cool,
and,
cool.
Probably gonna get another video out.
Nice. You guys have always been really good with the videos.
Yeah.
They all on your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have the same situation as
I
well.
think we just mostly have them on Facebook right now.
On Facebook?
Yeah.
All right. You're just at TV Cop or TV_Cop?
TV Cop IA.
Okay. So, yeah, it's TV Cop IA on Facebook. You guys
Yeah.
got Twitter and stuff. I should just pull it up. I got my phone here. But, yeah, I mean, like, you guys had a video recently where you were talking about how you were looking for a drummer, and that was a video that got shared quite a few times by, like, tons and tons of people. And it was,
We did not get a drummer out of it either.
I don't know how that works out. So you guys are still looking for a drummer. So I guess if there's a drummer in southeast Iowa, southeast central-ish Iowa, hit up the TV Cop.
For sure.
But yeah, you guys are
We're cool guys.
Yeah, you got the at TV Cop
Hang
IA
out.
on Facebook, and you guys recently did a video with animation. You guys have always been really good about like putting out fun videos with your releases and different songs that you have going on. So that was something I always thought was fun. Like you had like the party video one, and gosh, there was one with like
Radical Sabbatical was that one.
Yeah.
That was one with
Was
the
that the one with
trombone.
like maybe pie or food being thrown or something in that one?
Jarringly Caucasian. John was emptying a can of shaving cream onto his head.
There you go. Yeah, that was that one. Okay. Yeah, dude. And see, like, you guys have always... That's the thing, is I remember these things. There's so much crap on the internet these days, but, like, dude, I remember those, and those... That just make me smile so much. And you guys, the trouble you go through just to make your own videos and things like that are awesome. And recently you had a video made by Emery Brown. That was
He's awesome.
That was animated.
That's my favorite video out of all of them. That's my favorite one. I love the little bass player guy.
Yeah, and just
bobbing around down
yeah.
there. I love it.
Yeah, Emery's been tinkering around with animation, and his like the rudimentary style lends itself to itself.
Yeah,
like,
I loved it.
And that's the thing, though, is it's really entertaining because he'll make like promo videos for shows that he has coming up sometimes and things like that. So, and I did.
And it's only like a 2-minute song, but it's like the best 2 minutes.
Yeah, dude.
That video just works so good.
Let's see here. You guys are on the Twitter, and you guys do a lot of stuff on the Twitters. So.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like
Dakota handles that.
It's not the absolute most used account you guys have. I'd say your Facebook's the most used, probably.
Yeah.
But you are TV Cop _IA on the Twittergram. No, that's just Twitter, not. I shouldn't say Twittergram. On Twitter, TV Cop _IA. I got you on Instagram here too. I'm gonna have to look it up. But you guys do have stuff coming up on your Instagram page here and there too. I'm just not the best at using Instagram, unfortunately. I should probably use it more. You're also looks like TV Cop _IA on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys post pictures of shows and flyers and all sorts of good stuff on there.
Yeah, we try to get on sharing stuff and promoting and helping everybody out.
You got the YouTube channel. I'm not 100% sure how often you use it. I'm also not up on YouTube the most.
We're going to be using that more for
Good.
sure.
I feel like you guys could have a strong presence on the YouTube channel. If you just throw your music videos up there and things like that, that'd probably be like the best way to go about doing it. I use YouTube quite a bit, and I've done better at using it lately. I got quite a few subscribers to the Audible Farm YouTube page, but it's also tough to just decide how you want to monetize things and do stuff like that. So I guess it just is what I'm doing all these podcasts just so people can sit down and listen to them. I don't really want to just sit down and make money off of talking to people. So I try to sell ad space only to people that I like, and it's just one of those weird things. So I don't know how to monetize this the correct way, or even if I want to. But
It's so complicated.
I mean, it's really not that hard to just be like, here's an ad, watch it, thanks YouTube, somebody pay me money.
There's just so many things
but
that you have to be on track.
Yeah, and I mean,
be on top of.
Dude, it would be nice to have a team of people, but it's just a one.
You can't.
Just a one-man show. And that's the other thing is, like, you guys are active on all your social media accounts.
We try to.
And that's the thing is that takes time out of all your guys' personal days,
Yeah.
And that's something that should definitely be said for that, because it's a real person doing this, not because they're getting paid by. It's not like you're a band paying a person to say, like, post these things, post this stuff for us.
Yeah.
You're actual you guys behind the handles talking to people, and you're
like,
all
please like us.
Yeah,
please.
You guys do have quite a good following for being like only a 2 or 3 year old band tops.
Yeah.
So that's something else that I feel is pretty awesome. How long has TV Cop / sports team been a band?
Man, that show that you were talking about earlier was one of our first shows.
Yeah.
As sports team.
And that was I think it was a Crazy One promotion show, like a monthly show that he had booked for that.
I think that was our very first Des Moines show.
Yeah. Dude. Well, yeah, you sold
played like 100 cents,
Yeah, you sold me on that. That's for damn sure.
We got a standing ovation in the first, we were playing through our first song, and then Steve started playing the trombone, and everybody stood up and started clapping. I was like, what is going on? Like, what is happening right now?
Dude, I'll tell you what it is. It's this town has a lot of metal in it, Des Moines that is, and there's like stuff like that is refreshing, and I feel like you caught the right group of people to be entertained by that, because it was like me, Clint, and Kelsey kind of grew up on that stuff too.
Yeah.
So it's just like a handful of us that were just like, dude, this is so awesome. We need to, I don't know. It's just one of those things you don't see that every day, especially like a trombone in a band was just something that was just like, what are they going to do with this thing? And they're going to use it the right way, and it's gonna sound awesome. It's not just a cliche thing to drag around, So it was definitely refreshing to see a band like that come through Des Moines, and you guys are here, more often than how many shows have you played here a year? I mean, it's usually like
the last one that we played here was with the Oakley Dokleys at Vaudeville, and
yeah,
that was a super fun show. Playboy Man Baby was awesome. That's all I'm gonna say.
Dude, that's so cool. I remember that happening, and couldn't make it down to the show because I'm doing stuff because I have a life.
That show
apparently.
was great for us. We made money on it. Everybody had a great time. We sold a bunch of T-shirts.
That's good, dude. I mean, that's what it's all about right there. Is just going and having fun and realizing that people had fun watching you, and
our best.
Yeah, I mean, if
going through again more member changes at the time. So
it's just a tough thing.
Getting used to a new drummer.
It's a tough thing to do too. Is just like, I mean, even for myself, I go watch shows and I gotta make sure I tell everyone like, hey, you guys rocked, you killed it, knocked it out of the park today. Like, I love your guys' sound and style, and I always try to make sure people know that I am enjoying what they're doing. So that way.
That's how I've met a lot of cool people, really.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly.
You,
yeah,
Henry,
dude.
all these guys are awesome.
I feel like we got a nice group of people that we're kind of sharing our talents in between and building a network of people that are helping each other out the best they can in the best ways that they can.
That's what you got to do. That's punk rock right there,
dude. Yeah, and I'm hoping that this podcast is gonna reach a lot of people, because you're one of the nicer guys I've met. That's damn sure. You always seem to be in a good mood and just loving what you're doing.
Yeah,
and
I'm chilling. I'm having a great day. I'm not at work. I'm in Des Moines.
Yep.
About to see a sweet show.
Yeah, man. We got looks like we got about 50 seconds left. You want any shout outs on here for anybody?
Emery Brown for doing that video. That was amazing.
Yeah. What's the current TV Cop lineup right now? Shout out to all your band members.
We got Dakota Cairns, Justin Ludeman, John Rao, and myself.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Back to a 4-piece then, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's killer. Check out TV Cop. That's you're on Facebook at TV Cop, and then Instagram and Twitter was at TV Cop _IA.
Yeah, man. Thanks for letting me hang out.
Yeah, definitely. I want to make sure I said it right. That's TV Cop IA on Facebook.
I believe so.
Yeah, no underscore in there. TV Cop IA. So,
Yep.
so yeah. Looks like my recorder is going to run out of space. So appreciate you joining me, man. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
this was awesome. Thanks.
Yep. Hey, that was another good episode. Hopefully that audio sounds pretty good. I think I did a pretty decent job post-production on that. I don't know what I'm doing too much. I'm just kind of out here guessing. And I do spend a lot of free time reading articles online and seeing what other people have done to try to do what they're doing for their podcasts. And, a huge shout out for that goes to the Iowa Podcast Network. They've helped me out quite a bit. So shout out to the Iowa Podcast Network. You can go to iowapodcastnetwork.com and find all sorts of goodies there. Podcasts like mine, podcasts not like mine, things that are run by people solo. They got group ones on there. I mean, there's comedy, there's news, there's literally everything there. I got to give another huge shout out to Tyler Price for joining me on the podcast. We had discussed doing one a couple times, and we actually got to meet up, so it was really nice to meet up with him. I think it's the first conversation I've ever actually had with him one-on-one, sitting down, other than seeing him at shows and things like that. So it's really cool to actually get to sit down and talk with Tyler. So thanks again, Tyler. Really appreciate it. Go check out his band, TV Cop. Oh, man, I've always been a fan of them, so make sure you check them out. They're awesome. While you're out on the internet checking things out, make sure you check out www.audiblefarm.com. You can find all sorts of Audible Farm stuff there. You can find out where you can listen there, where you can connect with us online. If you want to be a guest, go ahead and fill out that form on the website. It will fill me in. It will send an email to the Gmail account that I have created for Audible Farm, which is audiblefarm@gmail.com. So if you want to just send me an email without going to the website, go ahead and do that. Really appreciate it. You can like us on Facebook, you can follow us on Twitter, and you can follow us on Instagram. We are at Audible Farm for all of those. Make sure you check us out there. We're decently active on all of those places. I love hearing from people there. It's always fun to have people give me shout outs and converse with me about what's happening. Speaking of that, go to the YouTube page. You can go to youtube.com and type in the search bar Audible Farm, and I believe I'll be the first return there. Let me go to it real quick and check it out. I did record that portable, but I'm back in the mini studio here and doing some stuff. Let's see here. We went there. We typed in Audible Farm. Hey, look at that. If you type in Audible Farm, I'm the first return, Audible Farm. You can click on the page there and give it a subscribe. We're closing in on about 200 videos now on there. We've got videos for bands that have played live. We discussed that a little bit in the podcast earlier. Shout out to Sports Team /TV Cop for all the awesome content they've given me on there. And, they've been really good about sharing those videos and things like that. So I really appreciate that. If you want to see what other kind of good stuff is on the Audible Farm YouTube page, just go to YouTube, search Audible Farm, and look for the Piggy. The pig is kind of the moniker for the podcast. So he'll be up there. Check him out. Got all sorts of goodies on the Audible Farm YouTube page. Thanks again to the Iowa Podcast Network. They're always doing the best, as far as I'm concerned, with supporting podcasts around Iowa and around the nation. I really appreciate what they've done for this podcast. They've opened up quite a bit of new listening around the state for me, and I really appreciate that. So thank you guys very much. If you're tuning in and you found us on the Iowa Podcast Network, shoot the Iowa Podcast Network a tweet or a message somehow and let them know that what they're doing is working, because they're doing a great thing for everybody out here doing all the podcasts, all the little guys out here. Michelle's running that, and I really appreciate that. So big ups to the Iowa Podcast Network. I really appreciate it. I do have to say, if you are listening somewhere where you can leave a review, I'd really appreciate it, just to let me know, what episode drew you in, what you really liked, things like that. So I know on the Apple Podcast app, you can leave reviews on there, 5 stars, 4 stars, 1 star, whatever you think. Leave me a little comment to let me know what's happening, and I really appreciate that. Leave a comment about the mixing or whatever you want to do. I don't care. Just go there and leave a review. Hopefully it's not negative. Wink, wink. Thanks again to everybody that listens to this. There's a growing number of people that are listening to this podcast, and I'm really, really appreciative to everybody out there that's doing that. And I just want to thank you guys all very much for listening to the podcast, because I do put in a decent amount of work into this, and I'm not doing it for me. So I hope you guys are all getting the entertainment value out of it, and I hope that it's helping some of the bands get exposure, and some of the other people that I'm talking to, I've had conversations with, not just musicians, but comedians, other podcasters. I've even had a conversation with the Pizza King himself. So go back through the back catalog, listen to some of the older episodes. Let me know what you think. Send us an email, or just go to Twitter and tweet us, or leave us something on Facebook, or anything you think. I really appreciate everybody interacting with me as much as they have. YouTube, honestly, there's been a decent amount of comments flowing in on YouTube, and I really appreciate that. So shout out to everybody that's been leaving me comments on YouTube. I do my best to respond as quickly as possible, and people are pretty good about responding back to me. So I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I want to thank you again if you're listening, and I want to give another shout out to Tyler Price for joining me on the podcast this week. This is your host. This has been the Audible Farm podcast, and I am Peter Stockdale. I will check everybody next week with another amazing episode. Thank you. Peace.